had a call with April Jackson. She's a part of our community. She couldn't make it today. She had asked me, and I'm going to read it verbatim since this will go on the recording. April asked, her next challenge is getting teens involved in prevention. They're very excited about suicide prevention. And that's because they unfortunately had seen a lot of that in their community. And so the students really want to take action. The schools really only seem to care about vaping, not around like holistic prevention or health.
Sure.
So they're kind of focused on the old model. They're like, just stop them, just scare them, just tell them vaping's bad, which we know doesn't work. It's not that helpful. And then the administrators are not allowing them times in front of students. Even when she offered to go, hey, I'll bring pizza at lunch. All you got to do is give me a room. They can come in, have pizza, and learn a little bit, play a game. They said, no, we can't do that. Which that sounds wild to me.
That's so frustrating.
You're going to feed my students. You're going to educate them. You're not going to take any of my class time. You don't get much better of an offer than that.
Right.
So what I'll share with anybody who is dealing with this kind of issue is, number one, sometimes the person that doesn't want to dance with us, that's okay. Because we'll go dance with somebody else and then they'll see it and be like, oh, I do want to dance with you. Like, this is really cool. So the biggest thing that we do at Vibe 18 is to capture testimonials. A lot of people in this course have worked with us and know that when we see you, we always ask you, or 75% of the time you see us, we ask you to record a video with us. It's probably obnoxious, but we have to do this because it becomes social proof. So one of the biggest strategies of getting schools to say yes is making sure that you build it as a part of your system. Anytime you have a satisfied partner, you capture a testimonial about their experience and how easy it was to work with you, the outcomes for their students, how it fits into their goal and mission. And then you can show that to your new partners saying, hey, we just worked with this person. They had such a good time. Wanted to offer the same thing to you. And Katie, you and I did the same thing for the first sober party the kids threw, is we made that cool video.
Yeah. And we still use it. We still do.
You do?
We do. It's a recruiting thing every year.
Yes. Okay, that's incredible. Oh my gosh.
That was a wonderful tool because it's the energy. You can't always replicate the energy, but then it gets them thinking about it and it gets them curious. And that's enough for us to pull them in.
Yep. Oh, exactly. Exactly. And I think that's the posture we kind of have to have as adults who are in this work, like adult guided, youth led, is like sometimes we just need the permission and the other adult is the gatekeeper. And so we need that avatar, right? That role, someone in that role saying good things about us. And so when it comes to getting students involved, all right, you need those student testimonials. When it's admin, you need the admin testimonials. And that's been the biggest thing, to not come across as needy, and instead come across as a position of, hey, I'm here to help you and I'm willing to help you, but I'm busy. So you got to get on my calendar, or you can't make this difficult for me. So for people watching back on the recording, that is the short answer that I'm going to challenge you with right now, is to start getting social proof testimonials. And I will do a separate training on how exactly I ask for testimonials in a way that's easy for people, how I apply a little bit of positive peer pressure so they can't get out a little too easy. And 3, what questions you might ask to make sure that you're getting the content that you need. So watch out for that training in the next couple weeks. I'm going to pivot us in, Katie, so you can help me out with this. We'll be talking about introductions. All right, here it is. Awesome. So pitching prevention in under 1 minute. This is such a fun exercise because we all have to talk about what we do. And if we don't know what we're going to say, sometimes it's really hard to communicate what prevention is, why it matters, how you can get involved. Like, we leave so much on the table. So this is why Leanne and I put together pitching prevention in under 1 minute, and it gives us a starting place. And the truth is, once you have this, it's something you refine and you practice, and it might change from room to room or person to person, but it gives you at least a simple framework to follow so you can kind of think, oh, how might I modify this? How might I try this different because I'm in front of different people? So what we're going to do is meet each other, we're going to learn the craft, and then we're going to practice. So this is, by the way, this is a fun activity. You can steal this whenever we're doing introductions. I just ran this with a new or a existing youth prevention club, and they love this activity. So I'm going to play this with you, Katie. Imagine we are having to introduce our best friend. We're really, really excited. But for this context, let's pretend our best friend is a TV character, someone from a movie that we really love. And so we'll have to get you excited about them, tell you about them, but you can't say their name. You can't say the movie they're in. Like you've just kind of got to talk about them like you would someone you're really, really excited about. When you know who I'm talking about, you can write in the chat. And then if we had a big group, right, we might have everyone hold their answer or just raise their hand when they have the answer, but don't blurt it out. So, and when you're facilitating this, you can put a timer on, right? Like 30 seconds. So, all right. This is my friend. He is so fun. He has the funniest laugh. Some think he's a weird shape, but I don't. And our other best friend is a squirrel. Sometimes his voice gets really, really shrill, and it is hilarious. Um, what else about him? Loves burgers. But the burgers might be soggy, actually. And some call him a square, but he's not a square. All right. Katie, all right, who is it?
Is it SpongeBob?
Yeah, it's SpongeBob.
I was like, you lost me a little with the squirrel. I was like, hang on a second.
Right, because I didn't want to say star, because I
Yeah.
think a starfish is actually friend, but I remember the squirrel character too.
I was like, okay, you said square. I was like, all right, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my close friend. He's super cool. He is always out and about around town with his other friends. And they all really have a great hobby. They really enjoy um, problem solving, figuring things out, doing little puzzles. He really likes to eat. He has a great appetite. I think he's really close with one of our other friends more than me, but they kind of grew up together. But they will eat literally anything. And the thing I enjoy the most about him is that he will do anything. Even if he's a little afraid sometimes, he will do anything for a particular snack. Who is it?
Yeah. All right. I had an inkling and then you said snack. I'm like, all right, it's Scooby Doo.
It is Scooby Doo.
Nice work. Okay, that's awesome. I love that.
That is fun. That's cool. I like this activity. It's great.
I know Leanne has got all these little things up her sleeves. If you're teaching students this lesson, you could play a game like that. And it's a good, easy way to say how you introduce someone really, really matters. How you introduce something really, really matters because it can make them excited about what you're doing. It connects them to what you're doing, or it could do the opposite. So what we want to do when we are introducing our program is to know your crowd before you craft your pitch. And this means that if you're talking with school administrators, if you're talking with students, if you're talking to faith leaders or law enforcement or social workers or healthcare providers, all these different people might have different priorities, or they might have a different frame of reference because of the work that they do, because of their age, because of the things they care about. So we can speak to those through our program. And I'll just give you a quick example. When I'm pitching Vive 18 to a student, I really focus on the student's story of throwing drug-free parties and events. So when someone says, like, a student will ask, like, oh, what do you do? Like, what's this Vive 18 company you're all about? I'll say, oh, Vive 18 is a student-led movement that I started when I was in school because I really wanted a place to make friends, have fun, and feel good without sacrificing my friends or my future. So I started throwing these drug-free house parties. Now we get to speak all across the country and help students like you start your own clubs and get involved with life-saving work. So if we like unwind that, it's, I mentioned that make friends, have fun, and feel good because that's the student language. That's the things, those are the three things that they want. We break it down. But then I want to make sure that I give them the opportunity to get involved because we help students like you throw events, start new clubs, because then they could see how what I do might fit into their life. Now, if you fast forward, go to, let's say that we're at PADCA, I always start with my story because it's a good hook, but I'll say something like, when I was in college, I started throwing these giant drug-free parties and events without any alcohol or drugs, obviously. Hundreds of students would show up and we get big name sponsors. And today we help get young people excited about prevention because, and that in that circumstance, that's actually what people want at PADCA. And that's why our mission is relatable to them and why they might want to work with us because they want to get youth involved in prevention. So those are like two scenarios that we would use. So how do you craft your pitch? This is our simple framework. You start with your introduction. This should be pretty easy. You know, what's your name? The second one is the hook. And this is, for me, it's my story. It could be a statistic. It could be a question. It could be something that was about the beginning of your work, maybe a story of how you were founded, but it's something that could intrigue them enough to think they're hooked in and say, ooh, tell me more. So after the intro, you have the hook, which might be your story, fact, study, something to get them intrigued about what you do or ask a question. Then you can share what's exciting for them, meaning like, what's in it for you? Why would this be worth being a part of? How does it apply to that person or that avatar, I would call it, in marketing? Then you share some helpful information on how they might get involved. And then finally give them something specific to say yes to. So we would call that a call to action. So when you come from all of these, you're basically covering all your bases. And it's not that you'll use this every single time you meet someone, but if you have all of these covered and you know them, you'll be able to piece them together in a conversation. Or if you're in front on a stage and you have to do a 1-minute intro, you'll be able to do that and answer any questions you might have. So at this point, let's do this. Katie, I'm going to put you on the spot again. If you had to follow this framework, you can go one by one, line by line. How would you go about introducing yourself for something like this?
Absolutely. So I like to say, my name's Katie. I'm a member of the Breakwater Coalition, and we talk about a little bit of, Breakwater is a youth-led substance use prevention coalition in Oshkosh. So if I'm talking to youth, I'll say something like, have you ever wished there were more interesting and fun activities to do at school or quiet places to go hang out? So we do our stuff at lunch, so we're trying to get them in there. But we talk a little bit about, Breakwater provides a space where we come in every Wednesday and it's during lunch. Sometimes we come with snacks, sometimes we come with drinks, sometimes we come with games. But it's just a space where you can hang out, you can make friends, you can just enjoy a little bit of peace and quiet during the day. And we don't do any homework or anything like that. We're just here to have fun and give you a space. So we always invite them and say, if it's something you want to try out, you can at least come, get a snack. If you don't like it, you don't have to come back. But we'd love to see you next time and bring your friends because the more the merrier, we'll have extras and we go from there.
Yeah. Oh, that is so good. Okay, I'm going to point out some things you did that were so awesome. The first thing with your hook, you asked a question. You know how sometimes there's not things to do, or are you looking for fun things to do? That's a great way to engage somebody in setting them up to learn about the great things you have to do. So I love the fact that you use that question. That's so powerful. And then you show them how you're answering it by what you do. We bring these fun games and activities, snacks, stuff like that. And then when you meet at lunchtime, come on by. That's the call to action, right? Come on by, come check it out, bring your friends. And you did something at the end, which I actually like, is you made it low stakes. You weren't saying you have to join this, you have to sign this. You're like, hey, if it's not your thing, like that's cool. Just, you can come check it out whenever you'd like. Because that, I feel like if we're addressing those fears, if we know an objection or a fear the person might have, and we're able to answer that before they even ask it, we're going to get a lot more yeses and a lot more participation. So good job, Katie. You rocked it. All right, here we are. What's your introduction? What would you put there? What is your hook? Meaning a question, a fact, an issue, a topic, a story, something that's interesting enough to get them thinking, I want to hear more. And then here, what makes it unique for them, or why would they get involved? What makes your work impactful? Why would they want to be a part of it? The who, what, when, where, why questions, or how that might need to be answered for them to say yes to what you're doing. Where might you be meeting? What time that is? All that good stuff. And then finally, your call to action, which if you've heard our recruitment video, if you've done that before with your students, you know that an invitation isn't always the one thing you're inviting them to. Sometimes it's like, hey, be on my email list, or you can be added to my texting list, something low stakes that they can say yes to, because maybe they are not free on Friday to go to the event, or maybe they have another club at lunch on Thursday. So you can give them an easy yes, unless you have something specific that you are inviting them to. But if someone is excited about what you're doing, it'd be a shame to leave that conversation without capturing that call to action. And then let's make it easy for them to say yes. If they say yes, if we can get their information somehow, that's super helpful. And I know when you're working with youth, that's not always the easiest thing. And there's protective things that happen in schools, and that's good. But maybe you just have a sign-in sheet or something like that to capture it. This is Leanne's. So she is helping us craft a lot of this stuff. And she put it as if, I'm going to be doing something from stage, or I'm going to be speaking at the Rotary Club or something like that. So, hey, my name is Leanne. I work for an organization that speaks to thousands of youth all across the country every year about making healthy decisions. The coolest part about getting to be on the team at Vive 18 is knowing that youth are at the forefront of the work that we do. The impact they make in communities that we serve is what makes it all worth it. My role is training with our adult partners, but knowing that those adults are doing the boots on the ground work across the country, and it's profound. Students are choosing to live substance-free lives every day. From speaking to schools to building out workshops and tools that are literally at your fingertips, we want to make prevention resources as easily accessible to community as possible. We want any teen to know they have the opportunity to know they can make the decision to be sober, drug-free, make healthy choices, and give the adults in their communities the tools to support them. You can be an active part of what Vive 18 is doing, or the work in your community is part of. Let's jump on a Zoom call next week to chat more. So this is something she could use in writing or use in person if she has that designated time slot. Some tips for using your elevator speech. And I thought this was so cool. Leanne actually shared on our call together when she was briefing me on everything that she developed, is her club. When she was a kid, she was in a prevention club, and she now does the work professionally. So she was able to take some of the things she benefited from as a student, and she was quizzed on this almost every week. So some elevator speech tips. Involve your use in the process of crafting the speech. This is important because then if they're helping develop it, they're going to remember it, and it's going to be a part of who they are. Practice again and again. And this is something Leanne's club did, is they would ask a new person every meeting, hey, what is it that you do? And they would practice. And it's just a part of the process of each meeting. A new person would go. Have multiple versions for your different audiences. So you might ask, hey, a student comes up to you and asks what we do. What do you say? Trial and error works. Don't be afraid of failure because it's a part of getting better. Have your key players also learn the pitch, which means not just the student leaders, not just you. Train your coalition members to have this as well. Make sure that you're equipping everybody who is in close proximity to be able to do this simply and efficiently. And then finally, don't stress about it too much. Meaning, it might be imperfect, it might change over time, but at the end, if you did this activity, if you know what your pitch is, then you have gone 90% past what most others do. Most people cannot communicate clearly what they do. And so when you have that in your pocket at any time, you're going to stand out and you're going to have more leverage, more momentum, all these things. So that's what we did during the meeting. We met each other, we learned the craft, and then we practiced a little bit. So I hope y'all can take this into your coalitions. Feel free to use this with your youth as well, because it's really going to help them answer that question. Hey, what does your club even do? All right, there we have it, friends. That's the session for today. We'll see y'all next week.